we are ready to start our, my favorite color is Moda, Block of the Month here at Prairie Point. So this is a poster that shows what the quilt looks like and the different colorways. We're doing 3 of these colorways here at Prairie Point. So I'll show them to you. The first one is, there we go. It's called Primrose Garden, and it has all these bright colors, red, green, orange, pink, not really red, but some yellows in there. Very summery looking. The other one we're doing is called Cookie Tin. So it has a kind of a Christmassy look to it with these pretty reds and greens in here and some snow for the off-white. And then this one is the Coastal Cool. Okay, so some cool colors of blues and purples, greens, not a lot of purple really, blues and greens. Okay, so we have those, we'll show you those on our website so you can see those there and look at them a little longer to choose yours. Now, part of the purpose for this video is to kind of show you, to talk to you about the pattern booklet. And once you gather this information, you might decide, instead of doing the kit all at once, you might decide you want to do it block by block. Or if you're doing it block by block, you might decide, well, I think I'll just do it all at once. So I just want to kind of review this with you so you know what you're in for. Okay, first of all, I will mention that the prices on them, if you buy the whole kit, it's one package up front, it's $102. Okay, if you do the month by month, it is $15 a month, and that is for 11 months. Now, for either case, you save money by getting it all in one. You pay less by getting it all in one, but you still get less fabric. When you do it all at once, you get just the fabric you need. When you purchase it block by block each month, then you will have extra fabric left over to use. Okay, then I wanted to review with you the pattern booklet that you will be getting, and some of you may already have that. So I've numbered the pages in here so that as I go through them and talk to you about some of them, you can refer to that. So it begins here with the piecing instructions. It says to use a 1/4 inch seam, and then it talks about your half square triangles and 1/4 square triangles. So all the triangles in this quilt are done with half square triangles, a few of them with 1/4 square triangles. The rest is just rectangles and squares. And then it shows the different colorways here. And one thing I really highly recommend is that you make a color chart, and so take a little swatch of all 10 fabrics and number them the way they are numbered here in this little chart. And that way you can refer to that and you won't get mixed up when you are trying to choose colors for different cuts in the pattern. Then we're going to look here on page 4, and it shows a diagram of the color sheet that you can do. So if you want, we'll have this on our website. You can print this off, especially if you're changing colors around and you don't want to do the same colors that they show in this pattern. You can get some colored pencils and just color it in, or maybe you're doing this pattern and you're not doing one of our colorways. You just want to do your own thing. You can use this to help you plan out your colors. So that's available on our website. Okay, then we're going to go over to the cutting diagram page here, and it will lead us into how to cut out all your fabric. Now, if you are doing this as one full complete kit, it's highly recommended that you take each fabric and cut it all up for all 20 blocks. If you don't do that, you might not have enough fabric, because in some cases you'll be cutting small squares out or rectangles or things, and then as you get near the end, you might not have enough fabric for your bigger ones. So they have it all planned out over here on page 6 to show us what to cut out. So I'm going to start cutting here. I've already straightened my fabric edge. So the first cut on here of fabric number 1, I'm doing cookie tin. Fabric 1 is called Snow. So that's why we have this white fabric here, and it calls for, I'm going to flip it this way, a 7 1/4 inch strip. So I'm going to cut this 7 1/4 inches. And then I will follow the instructions and cut all of these different squares out here that it says to. And the instructions for cutting are down here. So I'll cut one 7 1/4 inch strip, and then from that I will cut these measurements here, such as 2 7 1/4 inch squares for block 18, 1 7 inch square, subcut into 4 3 1/2 inch squares for block 18, cut it 1 6 1/2 inch square for block 7, and so forth. Okay, then it says to cut 2 7 inch strips, and then what you will subcut from that, and so forth all the way over. So as you do that, you're going to want to have these organized so that you can collect these together into block sections. So you will set aside all of them in this colorway that you'll want for block number 1. Okay, so this is fabric 1. So we'll put that aside. And another thing on this cutting chart is it shows you here that your width of fabric is going this way. So you will cut this like you normally do from the fold to the selvage all the way across. They have it all completely laid out here, but you don't have to, of course. You will have it folded, and then you will probably open it up to cut some of your subcuts. Okay, then it has the next page, fabric 2, 1 2/3 yards. You'll do the same thing, and it goes through all of these different pieces, all 10 fabrics. Now the booklet has the colors in here for the Primrose colorway. Okay, so that's where your color chart will really come in handy with your swatches, because this shows green. In Primrose number 1 is green. In Cookie Tin, this is white. All right, so there are greens in Cookie Tin, so don't let that confuse you. Maybe even having a swatch of it on the page would help. Okay, you also might want to put numbers on each fabric as you cut them and collect them together to make that more convenient. But I would suggest putting all of block number 1 in one little baggie, and so you would start with fabric 1. When you cut fabric 2, put all the block 1 fabrics in that baggie with that one. Let me show you over here the block construction page. That would be on page 16 as I have numbered it. It says block 1, it's a 36-inch finished block. Okay, it tells you the squares that you need, but you've already cut those, all right? Then it tells here how to piece it. So it doesn't really give step-by-step instructions for piecing these together. You refer back to page 1 here, where it tells you how to make half square triangles, how to make quarter square triangles. This little diagram here will show you what you need for this block. This one is actually made up of almost entirely half square triangles with a few squares in the corners there, 4 squares in the corners. Okay, moves on. Block 2, same thing. You will have already cut these out. Down here, it just shows a little diagram for piecing it together. So it does assume you know something about piecing. Okay, one exception to this with the triangles is it does have you do a little snowballing on a couple in block number 18. It will give you a diagram there of how to do that. So you could use your corner pop ruler or your simple folded corner, or something like that to do the triangles. Then at the end, after all 20 blocks are completed, there's a diagram on how you will put those blocks together. So they're put in large sections, and then those sections will complete it. And they give more details here on doing that. Okay, so one thing I want to say about if you are doing it month by month, you will receive mostly cuts in fat eighths, fat quarters, and some fat or some half yard cuts, and maybe even third yard cuts, but mostly fat eighths and fat quarters. Okay, there is available a cutting chart for that. It's not in your pattern booklet. So if you would like to receive a copy of this, then just send an email to Erica@prairiepoint.com, ERIKA@prairiepoint.com, and she will send this to you. This is available to those of you that are participating in our program here at Prairie Point. If you're participating somewhere else, you will want to go to your quilt shop to do that. So this gives exact diagrams of what you will cut out of each of the fabrics. Now, it's interesting that block number 1 has 9 of the 10 fabrics in it. So that's quite a bit of fabric to start out with. Also, save all of your scraps. When you have leftover, save them, okay? Because some of the patterns, block patterns, will refer you back to using fabric from a previous one. In other cases, you might make a mistake and you will have you might have fabric to fix that. So the next thing I want to say to you is when you get your fabric, get your cutting table all cleared off and get your ruler, your rotary cutter out, get your mat, and just start cutting. If you're doing the whole thing at once, you're going to have to allot some time to get all that done, okay? I would suggest probably doing it all at once so that you don't get confused. If you're doing it month by month, it'll be much simpler. You just follow the instructions on here, or maybe you don't even need that because you can just see from here what you will actually need. The program should be starting in February, so hopefully we'll get that to you then, and we will definitely be keeping you updated on this. So if you have any questions about when the start is or why you haven't heard from us, know that we are on top of it. We have your information, so if you still want to join, it's not too late.